The sun was just starting to rise, and I was already on my second cup of coffee. I'd always woken up early, even before the restaurant was my sole responsibility. As a child, I'd adored my father so much that I emulated whatever he did just to be around him more. That included waking up before most people even thought about hitting the snooze button for the first time. He'd been gone for almost a year now, and I still missed him at every sunrise. Meow! My cat Snickers wrapped her soft body around my feet, begging for attention. Reaching down, I picked her up with both arms and patted her on the head. She purred loud, a sure sign that she enjoyed that scratch behind the ears. "You like that?" I asked, and she continued making the vibrating noise, her head pushing against my palm in a silent demand for more. Snickers had been a haggard-looking stray at first, hanging around the restaurant begging for scraps. I started leaving her a little dish of food, an array of whatever was left over at the end of the night, but she never let me get anywhere near her. One step in her direction, and she bolted like I was going to snatch her up and put her on the menu. It took 6 long months before she trusted me enough to let me touch her tail. Just her tail. And then, one night, after I'd had a particularly long day filled with drunk tourists, she followed me up the stairs outside the restaurant and walked right into my apartment like she owned the place. I'd watched her meander from room to room before hopping up onto the couch and settling on top of a pillow, claiming it. From that moment on, I became the proud owner of the fattest tabby cat you'd ever seen in your life. A group of silhouettes moving like a choreographed dance caught my eye, and I put Snickers down so I could focus. Holding her for too long was a workout most arms couldn't take. Mine were used to it by now. What I felt like I'd never get used to was seeing Tony Garcia, all tanned skin and flexing muscles from his job on the water, with his multicolored dog following his every move. Tony had shown up in our sleepy town like a breath of fresh air, breezing in without warning and settling down in a house not far from my own. I assumed he liked being close to his boat, the same way I enjoyed living above my restaurant. It was comforting to know that if anything went wrong, I was only a few steps away from being able to solve it, or at least attempting to. You see, when you worked for yourself, certain things just hit a little differently, like location and timing, and the fact that I was a bit of a freak who didn't like to give up any control to others. He was a fisherman, new to our waters, and I bought fresh fish from him multiple days a week, depending on what I needed and what season we were in. My attraction to him had sprung to life when he sold me his morning catch that very first time. It had caught me off guard, throwing me for an unexpected loop. But I didn't think he'd even so much as cracked a smile in my direction in 9 months. The guy couldn't be less interested in me or any other female in town, it seemed. So I refused to take it personally. Well, I tried not to. It was hard, though. Tony was like Snickers, I'd decided. He simply needed some wearing down. Maybe if I left a bowl of food for him outside my front door each night, he'd eventually come inside.